Tell me, Gwilym, why are you wearing a black suit? Today isn't Sunday. I know that, Dylan, but I have to know what it feels like to be a minister of religion. The black helps me to feel it. Oh, that's interesting. That's what they call the method. I don't know what you mean. I've never heard of the method. Is it to do with Methodists? No. The method is something that actors use to identify with a part. So if an actor plays a character who runs a marathon, the actor runs a marathon too, to know what it feels like. Mind you, I don't know what they do when a character has to make love to a beautiful woman. I expect they do it to know what it feels like. Though I don't think actors need much practice. I've met lots of actresses, you know. Jezebels, every one of them. So how would you meet actresses, Gwilym, living out here in the country? I was on a religious tour of Neath, Newport, Bridgend and Bristol, all dens of iniquity. But if it was religious, where would actresses come into it? I needed to test my faith, of course, and to put those girls on the road to salvation. Well, you must have been strong. I don't think I'd have managed that. I only have to look at this girl in our street and I go weak at the knees. Oh, I must admit I was tempted at times. You see, Dylan, the female body is the work of the devil. From the time of Eve, and we men are all like Adam, cast out from paradise on that account. Oh, I've never thought of it like that. I always think that girls are, well, heavenly. Because you are being misled. A woman's eyes are pools in which a man may drown. Her full, red, pouting lips are fruit, inviting us to taste. Her figure so perfectly formed, her breasts so full, her waist so slim, her thighs so smooth and creamy. Oh, God. Hey, Gwilym, are you all right? They are sent to tempt us. But I know you tempt me, O Lord, to teach me how to resist. Oh yes, I can see that. But to know what you seem to know about women, you must have. Oh, look for yourself. You'll see what I mean. I can see what you mean, all right. In fact, I've never seen the like of it. Think, Dylan, of Delilah and poor Samson, of Salome and John the Baptist, both brought down by female flesh. I shouldn't have shown you those. I shall keep them for private viewing and pray to the Lord that you see the light. Yes, all right then. Though I'd like to have seen a bit more, just to see what I might be letting myself in for. But talking of seeing, can I see the pigs? Of course you can. The pigsties over here. Who'd want to be a pig rolling around in mud all day? How many piglets are there? 5. The sowette one. Well, I can only see 4. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 5 there yesterday. But you're right. Perhaps a fox got into the pen. Don't think so. More like father. He must have sold it to go on the drink. Last Christmas he sold a sheep. He was pissed for 10 days. A terrible curse that drank the downfall of many a man. Together with women. Oh yes, taverns and women, drink and fornication. What's that, Gwilym? I'm not familiar with fornication. Intimate relations with women. Well, I've got lots of women relations, but I can't say I'm intimate with any of them. Never mind, Dylan, I shall pray that you never find out what true fornication is. Well, maybe it's for the best, but if I knew what it is, I might appreciate it all the more. Now you must come and see my chapel. It's in the barn. I always lock it to keep out the thieves. So what about these big holes? You have to understand, Dylan, a thief is only interested in a lock. If he can't pick the lock, he'll go away, and he'll ignore the holes. Well, that's an interesting slant on the psychology of thieves. I'd never have thought of that. I bought all these in a junk shop in Carmarthen. Looks like they don't open it, Gwilym. No, I should have known better than to buy anything in Carmarthen. We'll have to go through the hall. Now we can do this because we aren't thieves. Well, I did steal something once, I must admit. So, what did you steal? Oh, just a quick glance at Mrs. Thomas next door when she was getting undressed. I don't suppose it makes me a thief. No, but you must have had bad thoughts, Dylan. And thoughts are the same as deeds, according to the Bible. You can't deny you desired Mrs. Thomas. The sin of lust. Wrong, Gwilym. The truth is, I was thinking how much I didn't desire her. She was 17 stone and as big as a circus tent. Almost as bad, really. We are told to love our neighbour as ourselves. But I find that very confusing. I could never love Mrs. Thomas like I love myself, because I'm thin and she's fat. And if I was fat, I'd hate myself. So where are we? On the slippery slope by the look of it. But not to worry. My mission in life is to save all sinners, and saved you shall be. Here's my pulpit. You made that yourself, Gwilym. I did. Jesus' father was a carpenter, you know. I followed his example. It's very high. Don't you suffer from vertigo, do you? You have to understand. God on high looks down upon his own creation, sees all there is to see. So we, his ministers, fashioned in his image, must also stand on high, gazing down upon our flock. But now, a few words in the presence of God. You can sit on the hay, Dylan, but mind you don't sit on the mice. Oh, bless us this holy day, O Lord, bless me and Dylan and this thy chapel and all the improvements I have made to it. Forever and ever, amen. O God, thou art everywhere and all the time. In the dew of the morning, in the frost of the evening, in the fields and in the town, in the preacher and in the sinner, in the sparrow and in the big buzzard. Thou canst see everything, right down deep in our hearts. Thou canst see us when the sun is gone. Thou canst see us when there aren't any stars. In the gravy blackness, in the deep, deep pit. Thou canst see and spy and watch us all the time. In the little black corners, under the blankets when we're up to no good, when we're snoring and fast asleep, when we're awake and ogling young virgins, or in the tea bath reading the newspaper and shivering with cold. Thou canst see us all the time, every day, every night, and every second of every day and night. Oh God, man, you like a bloody cat. Well done, Gwilym. You'll make a very good preacher. You know how to pace yourself. Thank you, Dylan. If I had a nice organ, the climax would be even better. But we can't have everything. And now, I'll take the collection. I haven't got a proper one yet. And I've only got twopence. Never mind. It's the thought that counts. The money goes to one of my personal charities. Do you have any questions, Dylan? I have got one, yes. It's to do with all those thous and thys. Thou art, thou canst, and thy will be done. All that sort of thing. Don't you think it's all a bit old-fashioned? It is a mark of respect for our father. But I respect my father, only I wouldn't, how art thou today, Dad, or canst thou give me a penny for sweets? Tell me, Dylan, is your father God? Well, he likes to think he is, but no, he isn't. Then there is your answer. God is unique, and thou and thy are reserved for him alone. Come on, it's dinner time. Now, Gwilym, like I said, we've got special visitors this afternoon, so you'll need to change your suit for the one with stripes. Mrs. Williams is very respectable, and little Jack is a lovely boy. They are coming by motor car. So, would I have to change my suit if she wasn't respectable and they were coming by horse and cart? You know what it says in the Bible, ma'am? To enter the kingdom of heaven, the rich man will have as much of a problem as the camel trying to go through the eyes of a needle. I didn't say she was rich. I said respectable. I heard she's got 3 motor cars, 2 houses, and last year she was mayoress of Swansea with a big gold chain. Well, Dylan, I think you'd better change your suit too. We'll have tea in the front room. There's a tin of peaches. She's had the tin since Christmas, waiting for capitalists to call. It's like the fatted calf. You're being very cheeky, Gwilym, and you know very well what it says in the Bible. Honour thy father and mother, so go and change that suit at once. It's a real nuisance, Gwilym. I've been wanting to wear my old clothes while I'm here, to look like a proper farm boy, and have cow dung on my shoes, and hear it squelch under my feet. And now I'll have to wear my best suit. Me too, Dylan. I want to look like a preacher, and now I look like a businessman. Oh, I hate those stripes. 2 dummies in an outfitter's window, but we can change back afterwards. Why is this woman coming anyway? The boy's Jack's staying for a fortnight. His mother wants him to have the experience of a different environment. Oh, we'll give him that, all right. A proper farm experience, don't you think? Oh yes, and even a religious experience, Gwilym. Let's go and change. Oh, there's nice to look, boys. There's nothing like making an effort to look nice with your appearance. You look nicer in that striped suit, Gwilym, than you do in your preacher's outfit. And you, Dylan, you look like Rudolph Valentino. Oh, yes. Oh, dear me, they're here already. Now behave yourselves. You are in distinguished company, royalty almost. Come in, Mrs. Williams. It's so good of you to come, and it's such a nice day. The sun must have known you were coming to be shining like this. You'll have to excuse the mess. This is Gwilym, my son, training to be a preacher. And this is Dylan, my nephew. Please sit down. I'll make a cup of tea.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones, but I really can't stay for very long.
No, of course you can't, but you must have very pressing engagements. But you must have a cup of tea and peaches. Gwilym, could you move that other chair? There's not enough room here for Mrs. Williams to sit properly. I'll move 2, ma'am. There we are. All right, Mrs. Williams. There's enough room there now for a water buffalo.
Thank you, Gwilym. That's very good of you.
I must say that's a very handsome fox you have there. My father shot it in the shed when it was tearing a chicken to pieces.
And that's real blood on its back.
No, it's not. It's red ink or paint. Anyone can see that.
Jack, don't be so argumentative. It's not very polite. You haven't been brought up not to be polite. In any case, children are to be seen and not heard. Don't you agree, Mrs. Jones?
Oh yes, 100%. Gwilym was always seen and not heard as a child, but now he's a man. We hear him all the time practising his sermons. His voice has cracked so many plates and cups. We'll soon be short of china.
So you intend to become a man of the cloth, Gwilym?
I do, Mrs. Williams.
And what led you to that decision, may I ask?
Well, on the whole, a burning desire to rid the world of all pretentiousness and false aspirations and big houses and jewellery and expensive cars. Do you know what I mean, Mrs. Williams?
Oh, yes, I agree with you entirely. The world would be a much better place without such people.
Gwilym Bach, why don't you give Mrs. Williams a piece of cake with her tea? We haven't got any, ma'am. You forgot to go to the shop. Don't you remember?
Oh, yes, of course.
But never mind. You can have some peaches later, Mrs. Williams. In the front room. They're very nice. They have been here since Christmas, Mrs. Williams, maturing in the tin.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones, but no, really. I don't mind pears or chunks, but I can't stand peaches. And as I said before, time flies. I have to go. Oh, I'm sorry you have to go, Mrs. Williams. If you tasted the peaches, you might have changed your opinion about pears and chunks. Quite possibly, and I'm sure Jack will benefit from his experience here. Now, you be on your best behaviour and don't lead these nice boys astray. Goodbye, Mrs. Jones. Just plain food for Jack, no spoiling his appetite. Goodbye, boys.
Goodbye, Mrs. Williams. Hey, Jack, does your mother always kiss you on the forehead?
She does sometimes. Other times she kisses me on the cheek.
I thought as much. People who live in big houses and have lots of money always do that. It's all part of bourgeois pretentiousness, the kind of empty ritual we need to get rid of. We must get back to basics. I shall go to the tea bach to write a sermon on this very subject. I never thought your mother would inspire me, but big women demand big sermons. Wrong, venomous snake, you die at the hands of white man. Wrong, both of you, you die at the hands of the preacher. Bang, bang.
Gwilym, what are you doing here?
The work of the Lord, you varmint. Ridding the world of scum like you and that scurvy red Indian.
But you ambushed us. That's not very Christian.
I am an Old Testament man. An eye for an eye. The Lord punishes all sinners. But since you aren't dead, you can come to my chapel before supper.
Where's the chapels then, Dylan? I can't see any chapel.
Oh, it's in the barn over there. There's a big pulpit. Gwilym climbs a ladder and looks down on us sinners. He's like God, and he preaches about all sorts of things like fornication. Oh, what's that? I don't know, but he tells me I'll find out one day and says you have to avoid it, but it sounds very interesting. I suppose that means I can find out too. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard my mother mention it to a friend of hers, but she was whispering. I don't know why. I'll light a candle and then I'll take confession.
What for, Gwilym?
I've got nothing to confess.
Nor me.
I've done nothing wrong. The Lord knows all our sins. No man is without. If we confess, we are forgiven. The slate is wiped clean. We can start again.
All right then, if no man is without sin, confess your own and your slate will be wiped clean. I'll go after you.
Good try, Dylan, but I confessed before tea and I haven't had a bad thought since.
What about shooting us just now? That was worse than a bad thought.
God knows it was only make-believe, so it doesn't count. When was it you last confessed?
Last week. My mother noticed a jam tart had gone missing. I confessed I'd eaten it.
You see? The sin of gluttony. But your mother isn't God. You have to confess to him.
Oh, all right then, I'll admit everything. I said I had a bad stomach and so I could stay off school. I went to the public library to read the juicy bits from books. I cut my finger and told my mother I'd coughed up blood. I made my father lose his temper so his face would go purple. I threw stones at the ducks in the pond. I looked through the keyhole to see my sister in the bath. I hated the boy in school because he was cleverer than me. I said I'd done my homework and I hadn't. I took sixpence from my mother's purse and didn't tell her. I had lustful thoughts about the girl down the street and said I'd show her mine if she'd show me hers, and we did. I persuaded my friend to do my sums so I'd get good marks, and then when I didn't, I wished I was dead. I think that's probably all. I can't think of any more.
The 7 deadly sins, and you seem to be guilty of all of them. Avarice, envy, gluttony, lust, sloth, wrath. I can't remember the 7th, but you must be guilty of it. Though now you've confessed, your soul is pure as the driven snow, and the slate wiped clean. Indeed it is. I absolve you in the name of the Father.
So tell me, Gwilym,
How can you absolve me if you aren't a proper preacher? Quite simple, Dylan. The Lord knows my intention. He empowers me in advance.
You seem very confident.
Oh, yes. Completely confident of what I shall become.
Oh, I know what the seventh sin is, Gwilym. It's pride, and you are guilty of it. What's the matter, Jack? Are you all right? I want to go home. I want to see my mother.
We'd better go for supper,
or my mum will be angry as blazes.
the sin of wrath, Dylan. She'd better confess to.